Hello everyone. Today I want to bring this 50mm Summicron version 4 into the modern day and age. And excuse my somewhat odd speech, but currently I have to wear some kind of retainer because my jaw is deformed and that is causing me headaches. So anyway, and how to bring a lens from the 80s into the modern world? Well, with one of these magnificent things. This is a flange for a Summicron with slots for 6-bit coding. So that way, my ancient M8 from 2006 will be able to tell what lens is attached to it. As you can currently see, this one has its original flange installed, so here is no 6-bit coding. And well, you just have to find the correct code for your lens, basically, and then with some black and white paint. In this case I am using nail polish, although I have only later on found out this is actually gel, which makes it somewhat pliable even when fully cured. But since these slots are somewhat recessed, I hope that won't be an issue. But yeah, something else you have to take into consideration is the focal length of your lens. Let me just orientate it correctly. So once this is mounted on your camera, this is where the rangefinder lever rests. And this tooth is what tells your camera the focal length of the lens. So this is a 50 or 75mm adapter, but you can get them in other focal lengths as well. And I have made a grave mistake because I have ordered two of these. One was meant for my Summicron V4, and the other one was meant for a Mandla 35mm. And in my, of course, infinite wisdom, I have ordered two adapters for a 50mm lens. So of course, this won't work on a 35, but I can modify this adapter and just shorten this tooth a bit, and then it will read as a 35mm adapter. So I don't have to wait another few weeks to get one of these. But anyway, I will use a toothpick to place the collar inside of here, and let me just find something. Perhaps here, no, that's just something to elevate this a bit. Oh, maybe this. This is a... okay, that's gonna work, I believe. And the Summicron is actually quite easy to code. You just have a black at the start and a black at the end, and everything in the middle is white, so not too difficult. So what I'll do is I will apply the paint with a toothpick. Let me just give this a bit of a mix in case you have to. I'm not really a nail polish guy, so not quite sure if this is necessary, but why not? Anyway, okay, that's probably good enough because there's nothing moving in there. And the supplied brush, of course, is way too big for these delicate little slots. So what I'll do is just grab... okay, this is not gonna work. Okay. and just apply it in here. I will rather take my time and do it like so than overpaint and have to clean it later on. I do have some very small brushes somewhere, but they are still a bit too big for this application in my opinion. Yeah, this is not going as well as I thought, because this is some, like I mentioned, this is some gel nail polish. So it's a bit thicker than what I am used to seeing. I don't know. Maybe the nail polish is changed in the last few years, or I just managed to grab this gel one, because I was like searching for acetone in the how do you say it, in the drugstore, and I only found it like after 5 minutes, because everything they have is acetone free. So it's just nail polish remover on some oil base with some organic. I already went over the line. How annoying. So yeah, it's some organic mumbo jumbo, and I had to pay like €6 for a small bottle, and out of my anger I have ordered one of these 1 liter of acetone for like €5, because it's like an industrial grade or whatever. This is drying very quickly actually. I was not expecting this to be tacky so quickly. But in any way, I will continue with my delicate process of painting this slot. And I am already not satisfied with this. I thought this was gonna be so much easier to apply in a neat fashion, so whenever I take off the lens I can inspect my marvelous painting skills. But what can I do? Okay, I'm just gonna fill it in like so, wait like half an hour for this to dry, take a razor blade and scrape the excess off. And once I get the white paint, sorry, I really I have difficulty speaking. Some sounds, they are very difficult to do because of this this brace I have to wear. Okay, so basically that's painted now, and I'll be gone for half an hour, so maybe have a cold beer, as it's quite hot here in Europe, as you might have noticed. And then I'll be back to paint the white parts. But yes, I got this adapter from the People's Republic of China, and on first inspection it looks quite well made. I hope it will trigger the correct frame lines on my M8, because previously I did purchase some LM39 thread mount to Leica M mount adapters, and this flange was just like a millimeter, not even a millimeter, it's probably a few tenths of a millimeter too short, and it would switch between frame lines, and that's very annoying. So I had to get creative when using that adapter. But anyway, I'll wait a few minutes for this to dry, and then I'm gonna apply the white paint. Let me just focus here so you can see this in its full 4K glory. So yeah, what you also have to take into account here on this Summicron This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 screw holes, but the flange only has 5, as the 6-bit coding is basically in the way of one screw hole. So yeah, you have to take care here, because there are different versions of this, and if you take a Vogtländer lens, for example, this has only 4 screw holes, so it's completely different than the Leica one. So here in this case I'm not sure if such a flange would even be possible to order. Maybe if somebody made this custom, or maybe just ask Cusina if they can supply one of these. Who knows? Maybe yes, maybe not. Hard to say. Oh no, I have that one. Okay, but yeah, anyway. And removing this will be just quite easy actually. Just remove the 6 screws, and that's it. So here I am back again, about an hour later. I'm not very happy with how this turned out. It's a bit blotchy, but yeah, sadly, like I said, it's gel nail polish, so what can you do? It's not as runny as some other kinds of nail polish. I cracked loose these screws beforehand, so you don't have to bear with me. Some of them were quite tight actually. And here we have it. Now here's the center of the lens, and that's where the little notch has to be. And I'm just gonna compare them a bit. This one has a black insert by the looks of it, just to decrease. Oh no, it's painted black, I believe, by the looks of it. So here on the inside this one isn't, but I don't think that's gonna be much of an issue. Let me just clean this out. While I'll have it apart, why not do that? So just some ethanol, that's gonna evaporate quickly. This part of the lens is not seen, so let me just see. Because I did have some lenses in the past where ethanol would remove the finish or damage it basically. Especially on some older lenses, even some cleaning agents can damage the paint finish. This is not necessary, but since I'm here, why not give it a wipe down and make it nice and clean. Here you can see some dirt, dust that has gotten in here through the years, and of course I moved this shim now by accident, and by the looks of it, it was already disassembled at one point, because here we have a mark from somebody who has serviced this previously. This is an old lens after all, so... Oh, no, did I move it? Yeah, that's the way. Okay, like I said, so where we have here, just line up the notch about out here. And I'm just gonna check, because my cat is in the kitchen. Okay, false alarm. He's somewhere else. Anyway, let's get back to assembling this thing. As you might have noticed, and as I have mentioned, on this particular lens you will have one screw left over, because the flange only has 5 screw holes. The 6th one was previously in the spot where the 6-bit coding is. So let me just check. Why this is not lining up. Okay, that should line up now. Or maybe not. Interesting. Not gonna go too heavy on the screws right now, just to get them in place. So here. Let me see how it sits. Alright, even all around. And I already managed to leave a fingerprint here. Now I paid about 20 or 30 euros for one piece of these, and they look to be made out of brass, but the machining is so-so. I'll see now how it fits on the camera. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fine. Thickness seems to be the same. Could have checked earlier with my calipers, but I did not think about that. So let's see. Putting it on is certainly not as nice. Let's make a test shot here. Okay. Of the can of ethanol that I forgot to close. Lens mounts and focus seems to be accurate, just as before. 50mm. Okay, superb. It functions. It has correctly detected the lens as a 50mm. So that's good. As you might know, the M8 is a bit slow, but I really don't mind it. Yep, 50mm at f2. Yeah, aperture stop won't be red. But yeah, that's it. Just a shame it's a bit, yeah, it doesn't fit as nice as a. Maybe it's gonna loosen up with usage, but it's just a bit scrapey. Now, where does this scrape? It's gonna be hard here to actually find out, but yeah. But it works! It works! Yeah! So marvelous. Finally, I have a 6-bit coded lens, and I have moved up in technology. So I won't be guessing what lens something was shot on when I removed the images on the computer. But yeah, really easy process actually. Just remove 6 screws, get some nail polish, or maybe a paint pen would be even a better choice to apply the paint, because here you can see I already effed it up, and I really wanted a nice finish. So when I take the lens off, of course it's not getting on my nerves, but I might just clean this up, or get some other paint and fill the machined slots in nicely, so it's gonna look proper. But yeah, an easy job, and the one screw that's missing now really is not gonna affect any stability of this lens on the mount, because this is rigid enough as it is. I'm still gonna save this old flange, and of course the screw for originality's sake, so I can reverse this whenever I so desire. And I'm gonna just get a little bag and put it in the flange, the little screw, and put it in the drawer of my everything accessories, and that's it. Really easy. Like I said, you have to, of course, check that the frame lines are correct. Here I saw it was a bit hesitant to go to the 50mm frame line, but it did in the end, so that's all right. And you have to check the layout of the screws themselves, because there are a few types of these flanges, and this is the one for the Summicron, and there is another one that has the screws spaced out a bit differently, and I believe that one actually has 6 holes on them. So just something to be aware of if you want to tackle this rather easy job yourself, because I believe Leica is charging quite a lot of money for this, and for some lenses one could say the economical, does it make sense? Perhaps, maybe not for some particular lenses. It is going in the ballpark of like half the value of the lens, and if you intend to sell the lens on a later date, you're not gonna really get that amount back. So it is more if you want to keep the lens for yourself, and of course you feel this to be necessary for the 6-bit coding to be. I really don't. I just saw these adapters, these flanges that were quite inexpensive, and I thought, well, for 30 bucks, why not give it a go? And you know, still when I review the photos, I won't have such a hard time differentiating them, but on some shots, of course, with a trained eye, you can make out the different focal lengths, etc. really easily. But yeah, I have some other 50mm lenses and a few 35s, and here recently got this Vogtländer 40mm Nocton. Really happy about this. This is quite a nice lens for the M8 especially, and I already shot a video of it where I have repaired the aperture ring that was loose and it was barely grabbing, and so you couldn't turn unless you really pushed it forward towards the front of the lens. Then it would engage the aperture mechanism. But yeah, that's quite a nice lens actually, 1.4 40mm. But anyway, and the seller did include a 3D printed lens hood. Better than nothing, of course. And it was very loose fitting, so what I did was, you have these 3 teeth here and it's gonna be hard to make out. Is it in focus? I have no clue. But I just applied a small amount of glue on each of these teeth. That way, and the tooth comes in here and rests on this ledge. So I just added a bit to add a bit of thickness, and this makes it so that when you mount this on the lens, it's a bit stiffer, because previously it would just fall off, and now you do have to exert a bit of force to make it come undone. So yeah, and it's not rattling. So easy fix basically for a 3D printed hood. Where if I had a more expensive hood and it had such issues, of course I would look for a different solution. But yeah, that's it. How to replace the flange, and yeah, this is a really nice lens, the Summicron V4. And if you want to tackle the job, it's not too difficult, like you saw. It's just not even half an hour actually. If you prepare and repaint this beforehand, you just leave it to dry for a few hours, and then you just exchange the flange, mount it on your camera, and you have a caudal lens. So yeah, thanks for watching.